Happy Friday! It is Friday, which means we are here with another community call with the awesome Raw Realm. This week we are in our Raw think tank and we are getting our minds together to get on to the next project. So at this point, everyone has submitted their designs for Raw Realms, which is happening in less than 10 days at this point. It'll be next Saturday, so it's going to be really exciting. I just was on another community call with the models, the Global Model Syndicate. So they are having a dress rehearsal soon, and they kind of put out how it will be, how the outline will be. So basically, the studio is 2 floors, and on the first floor is where they're going to have a bunch of seating and have the models walking. And then after that, there will be 2 hours of networking on the second floor where people will be able to see the designs and kind of really get up close and personal while talking and networking. So I'm really excited about that, especially because you guys know we have our whole design. We have our banner, which I tie-dyed. I actually need to post a final picture for you guys to show you how it came out, because it came out really cool, especially because I finally mastered glow in the dark. Yes, glow in the dark, not just under UV light, but use the little UV lighter that I sent to everyone, and you can light it to charge the glow, and then it will actually glow in the dark. So really excited about the display, especially the part Tiny hooked up the table where we'll have the jewelry and also all the apples with everyone's Twitter name, and also most importantly the picture frame that has a little bit about the Raw Realm and what we're all about, which is so important because unfortunately none of us are going to be able to make it. So us just again putting that little sprinkle of effort that we all put in everything that we do, it makes all the difference, right? Because now we have this stand that's still there representing, showing up for us and letting people know what we are all about when it comes to turning our physical creations into digital assets. And one of those things to really help with that has been our Raw Blackout Challenge that we've been doing. So with that, every day we've been counting down until then, which was a really great idea posed by Sergio, who had said he wanted to do this countdown leading up to Realm Runways. So from then, we all put out ideas on different things we could do for each day. And it's really been amazing, especially I'm always checking the hashtag Raw Blackout, and it's amazing to see us take over that. It was funny when I first had checked the hashtag to see if it was used already. It was like a bunch of WWE stuff. And I was like, okay, kind of different, but it is what it is. And now I don't see any of that. It's just all of our designs, all of our work. And I'm really excited to see next week when it's actually in New York and other people can start using the hashtag, because that's really the goal of it, so that when people walk up to our display, they can hit hashtag Raw Blackout and see us, see the work that we've been putting in, see all the things, the what did we do today, fun facts, and yesterday the mood boards and the inspiration, and just all the things we put in to create these designs that they're seeing, that they're going to be able to touch, that they're going to be able to visualize, and just get excited about all of us. I think Zay put out today a really great article about how, this was her first time doing a lot of things when it comes to using Photoshop and drawing a pattern, and then even Merv's first time with creating a bag. And just, it's amazing because it's all of our first times doing so many things. This is all of you all's first NFTs, right? All of you all's first fashion show, and it's just amazing that we are all conquering so many firsts, and to think how far along we're going to be this time next year. So any collectors that's listening to this, take advantage of getting in early, because we are coming and we are making that blackout, and that's exactly why this was our first theme, because we are not coming to play, we are coming to make a disruption in this industry, and we're not letting up. So just super excited about all the work we've been putting in so far with that. And that leads us into our next big project, which is, well, there's 2 big projects, honestly. We have to start finalizing our Raw workshop, especially because there's a few other events now that are happening, like the Decentraland Fashion Show, which Global Designer Network did pull out of because of conflicting interests of the people running the show. So, if we are no longer doing that, then that kind of frees up that time that it was going to be kind of conflicting. But moral of the story, we need to decide on a date for our Raw workshop and the guests that we want to have. I already kind of have an idea on the 3 people that, we can interact with, which I've kind of alluded to before, which are having the Digimodels run these different workshops. But again, we need to finalize a date, finalize some topics so that we can get the workshop started, promote it, figure out how we want to do that, as well as work on our magazine that's going to be coming with that. So we still have about 2 full months, but we have to iron out those kind of details so that we can start moving along with the other things. Give everybody about a month to prepare and then a month to, promote it, or however that case may be. So that is definitely on the agenda to see what date we could put on it, basically. So I'm going to drop some dates, see what you guys think in the ideas chat or in the workshop chat. Actually, that's what we're going to be building out. If you guys see over to the left, Raw Season 1. This is really important because as we drop our pieces for the fashion show next week, this is the channel that I want everyone to make sure that they're using, right? We have FGO patterns, new pieces in the workshop, and airdrop for Raw Season 1. So if you're making any patterns, remember to hashtag, Raw Blackout or Raw Season 1, and drop those patterns in the FGO patterns, because even now, like, I have 2 Digimodels that I partnered with for the fashion show, and they're in the patterns that I've created, right? So these are some of the things we want to keep that momentum going with. Like, make your patterns. That's why we have a whole season's worth. So the same theme, so that people have a chance to use these patterns that you all are making. So make sure you're sharing them there so that people know what's available. Again, even with our new pieces, once they are live on the marketplace, you're going to be sharing it under new pieces. That's where you can share the physical, share the digital, so that people know what's available this season. And then again, when it even translates to our magazine and the promotion and everything that we're putting out, it's just going to make it a lot easier to follow. And then for our workshop, again, that's where we can start to build on ideas for that. So I'm going to share some dates so that we can finalize the dates and start moving forward on that workshop. So did anybody have any questions, thoughts, or anything like that when it comes to the workshop, the magazines, anything of that nature? Nope. Okay, awesome. So moving right along to the main topic that we need to talk about, which is the Glow team. So all of the designers that have contributed to the RAWREALM will be initiated officially into the core team. So really exciting because as you guys know, we did, if you see, let me see if I can go here without this kicking me out. Bear with me 1 second. Events. So on our Glow team, I did share yesterday, and again, this was all thanks to the amazing Zay, because your girl over here was having writer's block. I'm like, I could not think of something that makes sense. I had some general ideas like, oh, the Raw Brotherhood, and even that came from like, we were thinking, oh, how we can create different themes for our core team. And then Zay, was like, that sorority fraternity idea is really good to build on. And I'm like, yeah, it is, especially with us thinking of ourselves as a university, right? And because when people go to universities, they join fraternities because of the networking and connections and stuff that they're going to be learning that are going to benefit them in the long run after they graduate, right? That's what helps them, not just a degree, but you putting that you're in certain fraternities and sororities is what kind of gives you that, connection, or you need a job, and you just have this network of people that are there to support and uplift. So being a part of this core team, it just, again, solidifies you a part of this Raw Brotherhood. We're putting in the blood, sweat, and tears. You guys know we are all about networking for real, especially you all that are here. You all came from the Grand Life Network, where you guys know that we put the work in network. That's what we always say. That's our motto, and that's what we really do. And I know people are seeing that's exactly what we do as they're watching all of us build out. So we're going to continue to make that impact and continue to build with others that are like that, right? Because some people are watching, which is fine, watch, okay? But those that want to be a part of this brotherhood and want to support and get that support back, there's certain things that it takes in order to get that, right? Because like I just said, we all are so uplifting and supporting. So I want to make sure that we are connecting with those that want to do the same, because it's really important. That's how we're going to continue to grow for real. So with this Raw Brotherhood, we have decided it's going to be 5 different core teams: our engineers, our creatives, our educators, our moderators, and our strategists. So under each of those 5 categories, of course, there are going to be a lot of other little things that you can do, which is why today we have to pose the question on what are some of the things that we think each category should do daily, weekly, in order to continue to grow our realm, as well as what are the incentives that each member will receive once they do, because that's what's going to make this DAO different than a traditional, from it being a regular Discord chat, right? We're saying we're a DAO because we're going to have a governance token, which is our build token. So it's going to be BLD, our build token. And I chose that name because, again, you guys and I like to keep things simple. And I think that makes it very simple to understand. Like if you're building, then you get a build token, right? Just like our liquidity token, it will be a legacy token, because although, there's this idea of the legacy system is the old system and we're moving into this new system, as we move into this new system, we all believe that the physical is just as important as the digital, which to me means that legacy that I'm passing down to my son and his sons and daughters and everything for generation after generation is just as important as well. I'm not just doing this for myself, but instead creating systems and different avenues that all of us and all of our children's will be able to benefit and start to build on, instead of having to, be born into whatever and then having to be subject to whatever, right? We've all decided we're not going down that route anymore. So still establishing our legacy and still building. These are those pillars in our community. So back to our 5 categories. So the engineers, creatives, educators, moderators, and strategists. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is, once you get initiated into one of the brotherhoods, or you could do as many as you want. You could be in all 5, honestly, if you are up to contributing to each 5, that's fine. If you want to be in 2, that's fine. However many, again, that appeal to you that you want to contribute to, that will be just fine, because if you're willing to put in the work, then you'll be rewarded. So back to the incentives. Once you join that, the first thing that you'll be getting is an NFT that will be stakeable, just like the airdrops I've been dropping. We will have exclusive NFTs that you'll receive once you get initiated into each one of these brotherhoods or glow teams. So with that, we need to establish a few things. I'm showing my screen right now on the recording, but again, this is in the events channel. I shared, if you scrolled up a little bit, it does have the 5 different brotherhoods there. And Zay created a name for each one of them. So basically how it'll go is, for the engineers, that's the Epsilon Nu Gammas. And what we're going to do, and then you can see the abbreviations for that. But what they're going to be called is the Raw Gammas, right? So then we have creatives, which is the Chiro Etas. And you see there are 3 letters there, but they're going to be called the Raw Etas, I guess. I've been kind of playing with whichever sounds the best. So with that one, I guess we could call them the Raw Etas. Educators, Raw Deltas. Moderators, that one I was a little stuck on as well. I told you guys I've been running into these creative blocks when it comes to this, but like Raw Mods, maybe we can call them Raw Mods. And then strategists, it'll be the Raw Sigmas. So again, just taking a piece of that name, adding Raw in the beginning of it, so you have a cool little nickname as to which umbrella you're under. That's where we're going to go from there. And then you guys have seen fraternities before, right? I've kind of alluded to a lot of the stuff when it comes to our digital apparel. All of us will also have Letterman jackets soon, digitally, although I did talk with someone who actually has a plug for a physical as well. So again, we can start, transitioning how you can get physical and digital in that, because you guys know that's one of our sprinkles and specialties. So I even have been working on how we can do, both of these, but this is going to be why this kind of stuff matters when it comes to our letters and our colors. So some of the things that I've been thinking is I love like the black white combination, and then adding a little color or like a rainbow of colors to that. So what I've been thinking is maybe for each category it can be like black, white, blue, black, white, green, black, white, something like that. At first, I was even thinking maybe like different variations of green would be kind of cool. Although, with it being 5, it's just like, again, how we can translate so that it's consistent. We can do it, all throughout different channels from darkest green to lightest green. Those are some of the ideas that I've had so far, but I'm very open and excited to see what kind of ideas you all have been thinking about when it comes to this kind of stuff. Back to the incentives though, is so when you join it, again, you get an NFT, and the NFT that you'll get will be a patch, right? Because again, it'll go onto your Letterman. That's why I've been jumping around, because there's so much that I want you guys to understand so that you can get the big picture of it, especially long term, short term, especially if you plan on joining the Raw Brotherhood and understanding what it comes with. So again, you'll get your Letterman jacket and digitally, and also a patch that you can start building on. And our lettermans aren't going to be for now, but more for like once we take our step as a whole group into the metaverse, right? Because we've talked about having our learning centers and all of these other things that we're going to be building in the metaverse. So that will just be something that will come at that time. But until then, we will have patches. And as you guys have seen, I am working on AR filters as well. So the plan is to create these patches that will have the 3 letters on it with the colors, and then you can use that patch anywhere as an AR filter. You could put it on an AR filter on your bag, AR filter on your clothes, AR filter however you want. You could even 3D print it out if you want to put it on stuff for real. You can, but you'll have these patches, and that's why I say you can even join a bunch of brotherhoods that might appeal to you, because then you'll get a patch for each one. Almost kind of like a Girl Scout, right? Or the Boy Scouts, whatever they are. That same concept of you complete a task and do certain things, and then you'll get a patch for each one. As you guys know, we kind of do something like that right now for the Raw workshops that we do on Twitter Spaces every Wednesday, where you come and you get a Pope. Now, Popes are cool because it's literally the proof of attendance protocol. So those are cool because you're able to keep bookmarking that and just building up that collection and working with Pope. But in our own essence and what we're building, we are going to have exclusive patches that you'll be able to stake, be able to use in so many different things that we're doing. And that's what makes them so coveted, right? Because as you guys see, if people come in looking for the airdrop, I'm not just giving it to people. If you did not support, if you were not a part, if you did not do something, then sorry, you have to do that first before you get that. Even when it comes to being a part of the brotherhoods, it's 2 steps that you're going to have to do in order to get initiated, and that comes with putting in the work in order to be a part. But it's not going to just be, oh, just sign up and now you get it and now you're a part. No, because the people that are a part are putting in the work and are deserving and going to keep putting in the work, and I know that. So again, it just comes down to aligning our missions and aligning the incentives. So biggest incentives once you join is getting that patch to be able to rock digitally, physically, in so many different ways. And then from there, again, we will have that governance token. So with the outline, so say for example, a strategist, right? So under the strategist, we'll have things like the information aggregators, which is someone that's like out here collecting articles and uploading them onto the brain, which you guys know we're building out. And there's a category in the brain for each one of these. Each 5 of these brotherhoods have their own folder in the brain, along with the chambers of commerce, which is more for like business owners that are coming into the space, where we'll be building information for them to come in easily, again, because they're going to be coming looking at the raw, right? We say, oh, if you need help going physical to digital, this is where you're at. So finding ways to streamline all the information we're doing and reward people for the work that they're doing is the point of this. So something like that, right? So you can say, oh, for strategists, if you upload something to the brain, then you'll get 1 build token, right? Moderators, something like that would be on social media, or even those kind two can go under both of them. And for moderators, actually, I want to go back to it because we need to make a big impact on social media. So some of the things I've been thinking is how we can continue to do that, because we really need to be spreading our wings in different places where different people are in order to be captivating this whole audience. So we've been really doing a good job staying consistent on our Raw workshops on Twitter, which has been great. You know, we get an average of probably like 12 to 20 viewers for each one, which again has been great, especially starting out. You know, I've seen it grow, and I know the Pope is actually something that's, again, really efficient, right? A lot of people come every week just to keep building up their Pope. And of course they like what they're hearing, but they initially were drawn because of this Pope, which I didn't know people were like super, I mean, I know because you say Pope and it's like free pizza to some, but like seriously, if you guys have noticed, some of those people that keep showing up and you may not know who they are, it's because they're there ready for their Pope, and they always let me know they like what we're talking about. So just continue to build in those ways, but also Clubhouse, that's going to be the next thing that we attack. Me and my husband, we were on Clubhouse like at the beginning of the pandemic, I want to say, when it first started, and it was great. The only reason why we stopped is because then a lot of people got into it, and it's like a lot of people were into it but had no idea what they were talking about, and it kind of gets annoying when you're on it all day listening to people talk about stuff that they have no idea what they're talking about. But we realized yesterday when we kept hearing like, oh, YouTubers are going onto Clubhouse because you can start your whole room there. So like, say for example, we have the physical to digital room, right? And we can almost do something like, the idea would be for it to be a 24/7 radio station almost, right? Where we can have music playing in between, but also different hours for different things like moms and crypto, and women in crypto, and women in NFTs, and physical, and having different segments on the channel in order to grasp our audience, get people into our conversation, and help to inspire them to see, again, what they have going and how they can take their physical and bring that into this digital world, because this is the time to get involved. So looking at things like Clubhouse, who you can go in and start a room and it go to 400 people listening, and again, just finding different ways we can continue to network, Reddit and LinkedIn, and just so many different avenues. I'm even on BBS Market. I know a few of you have traveled over there, but again, any avenues that you guys see and think would be great to attack, go for it, because the more we start getting the raw realm out there, the more RAWREALM is going to be out there, right? The more all of us as artists are going to be out there, which is important because, again, all of us just put out NFTs, and that means all of us want to sell our NFTs. And no sale is guaranteed, right? You can't look at your fellow artists and think that they're going to buy it because they put out their own NFTs that they're trying to sell as well. And that was something I had to realize at first, when I was like, oh wow, I'm around this whole community, but I'm around a bunch of other creators. I need to be going around a bunch of investors, a bunch of people that are interested in collecting. So again, just putting yourself out in different spaces, that's how you're going to start to attract that and get people interested. So that would be something under those moderators, right? People who are hosting these spaces, people who are doing different things. And I even really like Indica Trades and her realm for keeping the distance. She just put out a whole schedule, right, for her core team. Like, everybody pick a day you want to do something, pick an event that you want to host and go for it, right? Stuff like that, where it's like you're putting the not responsibility, but the ability into your core team to say, hey, take whatever gifts you have, take whatever ideas you have, and go for it. Rep the raw realm, rep what you got going, and keep going for it. So that would be under the moderators. So different things like that, again, because that would be simple, right? Host the space, get a build token, and you'll get a percent as well. So with the governance token, how it will be is it will basically be an even distribution. So say, for example, we have 5 different roles. So say we have like 100 tokens. Say we drop 100 build tokens each week. So how that would be divided we would say, okay, well then 20 tokens will go towards each group. 20 towards the strategists, 20 towards the moderators, 20 towards the educators, 20 towards the creatives, and 20 towards the engineers. Now, at that point, it comes down to, okay, say 2 people drop hosted spaces under moderators, right? So those 20 tokens would be divided 10-10, right? But say maybe 2 people, are put in, but maybe one person hosted 2 spaces. So now that one person that hosted 2 spaces will get just a little bit more of that build token that is for the moderators, because they put in a little more work for those moderators, right? So at that point, again, it comes down to you get out what you put in. So we'll establish how many tokens will be dropped per week for each one, so that way it can be consistent with our token and the tokenomics of it. And I know the tokenomics can be a little confusing, so I am going to have a more clear call going over the tokenomics once we establish the roles that we want to see in under each one, because then you guys know I'm all about making it simple, explaining things for what it is more than so hypothetically. I can give an example in the beginning, as I have so far, but once we really establish, okay, we've established our 5 roles, we established what we want to see in each one, then I can let you know, okay, this is how many we're going to drop, and this is how we're going to do it moving forward. So that's really the goal with this, is to establish right now 2 things: the colors that we want to see for each one, and the roles that we want to see each one do. So I know that was a mouthful. I hope it made sense. But what are you all's thoughts, questions, concerns, ideas when it comes to this glow team and how we can incentivize people for working? What you guys would like to see everyone do? I do have my notes here. So even if you want to, say each role and something that you would like to see each role do, right? For example, like I can start that off as well. Let me go back to pull that up for myself. Before I go into my own examples, does anybody have any questions about what I've said so far? Okay, I haven't heard anybody unmute. Okay, so for example, so say engineers, right? So something that engineers can do every day is we need bots, right? Bots in the server. Oh no. Okay, I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, am I the only one that can't hear?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I don't know why my internet's been tripping, but it's all right. We back. So back to the example. So for the engineers, we need bots in the servers, right? Or even different things that can be built out, like the metaverse, right? Because we're going to be in Nifty Island soon, and Nifty Island just rolled out their alpha version, which means it's almost ready, but they have just a few people that are testing it out right now. So something like that, where we can say, okay, the engineers' jobs is to be present in the metaverse, be building those different things in the metaverse, in this other aspect of it, or even helping with bots, because again, those are 2 completely different jobs that people can tackle, but can still fall under the engineers. So we could say helping with bots, helping in the metaverse, helping build out websites, because we also have our website that's about to be launching soon, helping to update our Git book, different things like that on that front is going to be under those engineers. For creatives, this would be our digital designers, our physical designers, right? So it could be minting a FGO pattern using the theme, you creating a piece using a pattern using somebody else created, different things like that that the creatives can do, which I think that one is a little more we get that one because we are all creatives, but just giving daily tasks too. Like, okay, what is something else a creative can do every day? Maybe they can share it, right? Because again, we create these NFTs, but we also have to promote it. So that something like that can even fall under creatives, right? Like, you've created it, now share it, right? And then that way you can still have a daily goal, because you guys know I'm all about setting one task to do every day and accomplishing that. So one thing I would really love to do with each one of these categories is setting at least one daily goal, maybe one weekly goal, and then a bunch of other things that again can be accomplished as well. So educators, right? Dropping an educational video on YouTube, dropping an educational reel on Instagram, creating educational flyers, creating anything that's going to help us educate. And it can be from anything as educating about your own gifts, right? Like saying CJ wants to host a crochet with me, and you start showing people, the beginning or the basics of crocheting, right? That would be something cool. That's educational. Say we do something like, oh, how to buy Mona. That's something Tiny and I have been thinking how to tackle, because again, we have all these NFTs we're creating, but to get people to buy them, we have to educate people, one, what Mona is, how to buy it, and how to buy our NFTs. So creating educational content like that now makes it easier for our buyers to get involved and get educated is important as well. So things like that will be for the educator. Again, something that they can do daily, creating that educational content, educating people on what RAWREALM is, writing articles. Zaya's been doing a really great job at writing daily articles, even when it came down to the challenge, just putting it out on Medium, because when people go Google stuff, that's why we're even on Medium. Your Medium article is going to start to pop up. So the more you're on Medium, the more you're building that presence there, the more, again, we're just talking about the raw realm, the more of a presence we're creating in general on these different platforms. That's why I even brought up Reddit, because a lot of people are on Reddit. I've never used Reddit before, but again, people go there to go and research different stuff, right? And if we're saying we're building out a DAO and an ecosystem and NFTs, we want people to be able to go, just like we all do when we hear about a new project. We go on YouTube and we go and try to research it. We have to be the ones creating this information about our projects so that we are a commendable project that people want to be invested in, and not even invested, but being partnered with so that they can help build. Because again, this is not an investment opportunity. We are all just here to build something for the future. So back to our moderators now. So moderators, I've already given the example, and again, how you can be involved daily on social media, hosting different spaces, but also here in the raw realm, right? Every day, stirring up conversations, replying to people, inviting people into the space, walking people through the steps. Eventually, we'll have a whole onboarding process as well. And as you guys see, when you join the Global Designer Network, I'm one of the first people that was like, hey, welcome. What brings you to the Global Designer Network? Well, now this is what you got to do, right? Just figuring out these different roles that our moderators can be taking a part of so that our community is always growing, because that's again something that our realm is great at. This Discord channel is not like many others, right? People are here to come and share their ideas, share their content, and even the moderators will be able to share others people's content. That's something that I really am interested in seeing, is other people sharing other people's stuff, because maybe people don't understand yet. They write an article and then come share it here. But hey, if we know that they're here in the community and we read their article, let's share it here, tag them, and then all of us hype it up. All of us dig into it and show people that support that you get when you do share it, again, to continue to grow that momentum. That's something that our moderators can do. And then strategists, again, when it comes to us figuring out how we are going to make this big impact, make this big disruption. I've even been thinking, because my physical to digital raw apparel page on Instagram, again, one of the things that I'm really mindful of as I'm building out this DAO is it's an interesting concept, because it's like, as people get their governance tokens, then they'll have more say in how we control and run the raw realm, right? So for me, since I founded this, I had to be very mindful of what I want to be a part of that, right? And that's the simplest of things I can say. So for me personally, one thing I've really made distinct is there's raw apparel, which is my business, and there's RAWREALM, which is the DAO. That's a decentralized autonomous organization that everyone has a say in when it comes to us networking and building and creating an ecosystem around the idea of physical to digital. So even when it comes to the Instagram for raw apparel, right? Again, that's where I share all of my latest drops and my concepts, right? Even I've let my husband take over that page at this point, because our messages need to be clear, right? And you guys know we're not just here for the fashion, but for making sure people are setting themselves up financially and growing financial literacy and just thinking of things in different ways and growing a well mindset, and making sure that is in the ecosystem as well. So one thing I've been thinking is maybe there needs to be another Discord that's just, or not another Discord, sorry, another Instagram that's just for RAWREALM or Raw DAO. Well, at that point, we could share everything people's posting, right? And I mean, I wouldn't even mind doing that on Raw Apparel. But again, I know I have to make that distinction between what is mine and what is the DAO's, because otherwise, if I combine them two, then that means you guys will all also have say on what I have to create and what I have to do. And when I think about that, that then defeats the purpose of why I'm doing this, right? I don't want to have to everybody vote and say, oh, I have to make 100 t-shirts. Like, that would be heartbreaking, right? To end up enslaved in that way. So again, me just having that distinction, and again, being mindful of those kind of things going into this and putting it out there and saying, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is going to be the best way to go about it, and this is how we can do that. That's fine. It's okay to have these conversations, because I know there's plenty of others that think that way as well. I know Stella mentioned it before too, because one of the options that we have is Patreons, where people can actually say that they believe in what we're doing and really join forces and Patreon it, which is just putting their money where their mouth is, which is saying that, oh, they can put $10,000 into our treasury and then they'll get 10,000 governance tokens, which means now when we put up votes, they now have 10,000 votes available, right? So again, just understanding that, right? And I know, and I brought up Stella because I know she had mentioned that she doesn't want to see something like that, more so where people can just come in, put in a bunch of money, and then get more say-so. So again, it's just being super conscious and mindful of how we're building this out. And that's why it starts with incentivizing before we really start building, right? It was great as we started to put everybody into a space where they can get their NFTs out. But now as we're going forward into building out our ecosystem and our DAO and our vision for real, I want to first make sure the incentives are lined up so that everybody can be getting those daily incentives, right? Because again, they are going to be stakeable. They are going to have all these additional perks, especially when it comes to how they connect with DigitalX and the bigger ecosystem, and making sure that people are getting out what they're putting in as well. in that sense, right? And that's why I said it's not an investment, because it's not about, oh, you're gonna put in X amount of money and get X amount of money back. No, it's, oh, you put in this amount of work, now we're gonna see this work come into fruition and make all of our ecosystem grow, right? That's what we're here for, to see it grow, and everything that comes along with that is gonna be great. So making sure those incentives are lined up is really important. Those are some of the examples I have for each one, but I would love to hear some examples that you guys have that you would like to see each group kind of do. So did anybody want to start? Did anybody have any ideas that they want to share? I see Tiny's unmuted.
Hey. Sorry, I had to get away from the kids real quick. So I was just thinking, I'm just going whatever order because my brain, is all over the place. So I was thinking for like educators, maybe like I just put like three different ideas for like maybe like a daily task they could do. So for educator, I put like maybe post a blog about something, host an educational space, whether that's like in here in the realm, on the Discord or spaces on Twitter or whatever. And then adding to the brain, maybe that could be like one of the possibilities for like a daily whatever you want to call it. And then for moderators, just keeping up the conversation in Discord, growing the community, like outreach, like how you were talking about, just going out and finding different things. And then maybe you how you host that safe space in one of those.
Oh yeah.
And what if we did something like that in ours, so that way we could just be like, hey, if you have any questions, like just come here, whatever time, we'll post the times and be like, whoever can host it, and just say, hey, if you have any questions, just pop up, and we'll be here. Right. So maybe something like that could be a task for a moderator. And then for strategist, I just put like I didn't know what to put for like the actual task, but I put like social media planner, maybe create templates for the realm to use. And more outreach, like, hosting spaces or whatever, or just going into different, like how I've been doing, just going into different spaces and kind of like looking for other people that are like us. So, just that kind of stuff. I didn't really know what to put for engineer, so I just skipped that. And then the creative, I just put like a mint to design. I don't know, because it's like stuff. It's like working, when you're a creative, it's not like an everyday. So like I was trying to think of like what could be like an everyday task for a creative.
Right.
So I don't know. I just put like post your work in progress in the Discord chat, because it's not like you're going to be popping out new shit every day. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's a good point. And I really like the safe space idea that you dropped for the moderators, especially, just having that and saying, hey, if you want to know what the Raw Realm's about, if you have questions, if you have anything, those people being there to talk about it, especially because we are all so personable. So it's like any person that you talk to is really going to give you that feeling of what the Raw Realm is. So, even having different people doing those kind of things, different people doing that outreach, I think you really hit that. And then, like you said, with creatives, finding different ways that they can do something daily, right? Because like you said, people aren't going to be dropping new designs every day, but finding like, okay, well, what can you do every day? What can you share every day? What can you do as a creative every day? And also, I really like the idea of your templates, like creating templates from the strategist, so that we can all start building a cohesive like look, right? And people can use them, especially how you created the border for us already. And just keep doing stuff like that. Especially, I know you the queen of Canvas, so I'm like, I know that's gonna be all you right there. I already know. But having more people that are gonna be able to use that, because I know there are so many different things. Like even Dylan, he does it where he can take your design and put it on anybody. Like if you ever see his t-shirts on like celebrities, he does all that with photoshopping, right? So it's just like finding different ways that we can, like you said, create templates and just all kind of different ways to put that out there. But all of those are really great ideas. Thanks for sharing. And did you have any other thing that you wanted to share about like the incentives or anything else that we've talked about, the workshop, anything?
I think what you said was good. So, but yeah, I think just keeping up with the popes, and we just gotta like make sure that we're talking about the shit. Really, like it's really what it is, because people like what what we have going on. It's just like they just don't know about it. So like, I think it's really important that we, I mean, everybody here right now, has obviously been participating or whatever, but if the more, the more people that we have doing that, so we have to figure out how we can draw these more people in. So I guess that's that outreach that we're talking about.
Right, exactly. And just getting people excited to
But
take a
you
part.
see that even when there's only a few of us, we do great things. So
Yeah. And we're making an impact, like I said, when you click on hashtag raw blackout, you see all of our designs, all of our impact, and it's beautiful to see, right? So like you said, it doesn't take
yes,
many of us. It's just the people that are here, that are consistent, are putting in that work. That's what makes the difference. So just making sure that everybody that is getting rewarded is going to be great to be able to build out. Appreciate your feedback. Thanks, Tiny.
thank you, thank you.
Alrighty, who's next? Zay, CJ, I see you.
Yes, but I think that I love it. What really piqued mine was the educators piece because I think that's really cool. I think part of it is if all of us can talk about it, like Tiny was saying, talk about it, make sure we all at the same page, and even if some get up to speed. Because I'll say this, if it wasn't, and I didn't want to tell Mo I was struggling in that space, but with Tiny and Zay assisted me with things that helped me kind of get up.
Right.
And so part of that education piece would be really good, I think, um, to make sure we're there so that when we promote and talk about it, we solid on it.
Right.
So I think there's that part of it would be really good for me. And I think that the engineering, knowing, I think promoting it is huge, and forcing ourselves to get involved in how we can contribute to it. So I love everything you said, and I'm kind of like, man, there's so many different things that we can do. The work,
Right.
like the hard working, building it, and the build token.
Yeah.
So I think it's more so like trying to get up to make sure everything is like make sure that we're all like meeting, because it helped when I reached out to them too, so that they were like, oh yeah, okay, that part I'm good at, this part
Right.
you are, this how I can bridge it so that we can help it and
Right.
we can know a little bit more. So it's just getting involved, at least from that's what I wanted to say. And some of the things you guys have put out have helped so much with me understanding even just trying to create the NFT.
No,
So
and that's a good point, and I like how you mentioned that because it's like even when I was in Global Designer Network, right? You don't want to always ask Emma a question because it's like she's doing a million things, and you feel like you've already asked a million questions, and it's like of course we're gonna always say it doesn't matter, ask your questions anyways, but that doesn't stop when you have that feeling like I don't want to ask another question, and just knowing like you said that there's other people that are just as strong in other ways and going to have some resources to be able to help you get to that next point. So I really like that point that you made on making sure everyone's up to speed, and just putting that out there like, hey, these are people that's going to be able to help you. If you have questions, you can reach out to them, or even like Tiny said, having that safe space on, even if it's like daily, right? And we have a different moderator that's there every day that you might be able to talk to, because again, then if you have a question any day, you can pop in and talk to somebody, right? Or different things like that, I think will be really important.
uh, thank you. One of those accountability, one thing you did that was really, you would put out there, okay, this needs to happen at this time. So like even amongst the groups or the engineers, the creators, the educators, moderators have like within those group have those meetings and accountability piece about what part have you done. So that way we could kind of keep pushing it forward to promote it out. Because so you kind of grouped up doing it too.
Yes.
And then y'all are all there. But okay, you got your piece. Okay, let's put this together. Like the recap of it all. I love
Right.
your recaps because I can always go into them and listen too. So I
Yeah.
think if we create those things and always kind of reinforce it and where we are, it makes it like the group makes it a lot stronger. So I really love what you guys have been doing. Thank you.
Yes, that's a really good point. Like you said, that accountability, and that's again how we're going to make sure everyone's up to speed, right? Because even when I put that out, I'm like, man, I should have made sure everybody was on board and everything, 2 weeks before it was, rather than the week of, everybody on board in the week of, everyone trying to figure out how to set up Matic Network the week of, everybody making sure their mints are in. So like you said, just setting out those schedules and, here's where everyone should be at this time. And when it comes to certain projects and different things, and being able to recap, to make sure everyone's on board, anyone has questions, being able to revisit and holding each other accountable always just makes that difference, especially once we break into those sub teams. Like you said, the educators will have the educators' backs, right? They'll have their own list of things that they need to accomplish because, like we said, there's going to be daily tasks, weekly tasks, monthly tasks, yearly tasks, seasonal tasks, right? Because we have longevity, and that's what's also going to make us super powerful as a DAO, is showing people this longevity, because it's not taboo, but people like seeing these white papers and seeing your plans that you have. So it's like, if we can outline, like, these are the tasks that each one of us are doing in order to reach this goal, that's where we're going to get that impact, and hold each other accountable to make sure it happens so that we do reach these goals. Because once you put it out there that that's what you're trying to do, now people are looking at you to get it done. And if you don't, it does not look good on your organization that you're building out. So I really like that part of being accountable to make sure we are on track and on schedule, because we know being on time is the most crucial part of this whole thing that we're doing, right? And we're on time. So making sure we all stay focused and ahead of that time is what's going to keep us ahead of that curve. Tiny, I see you unmuted. What's up?
Oh, damn. Hold on. Oh, I forget what she was talking. Oh, the brain. So I was thinking about how we're all like, well, at least everybody here, you can tell we're all like super passionate about helping people, even if we don't know the whole thing. So I think, I know we have a lot going on, but maybe we should focus on building that brain. Like, I know we keep talking about it in the chat, but like, we should like really start focusing on building that brain, just to, show people that, like, we have the research, we're building this stuff. Like, if you want to come, you can come build too. So just like kind of creating that, I don't know what you would call that, like that vibe, that,
right.
That we're here, to help. We might not know it all, but we're going to help you with what we can help. You know what I'm saying? And we're welcome. We're happy to hear from other people too. So,
right. Especially because we're all learning. And it's like, as we're all learning, using the resources that helped us, putting it in there, right? Or even creating our own resources at that point too. And that's a really great point, because it's like, even something like how Zay said, oh, she made a seamless pattern, right? We all take pictures of our patterns at this point in order to make a pattern, but I don't think any of us have had to make seamless patterns. So even something like creating that kind of content will make it easier for people, as we're saying, oh yeah, girl, you could get into this too, all you gotta do is make a pattern, right? But it's like, here's how you can even take it that extra step to really make a seamless pattern with these resources that we're now building out and putting into that brain. So that's a really good point, is focusing on that brain and making sure we incorporate that into the daily goals. Really great point. Zay.
Hello. I have been just writing everything down because I am so passionate about everything we're talking about right now. So I just have a mouthful to say, and then I'll stop. But I was thinking, Tiny really hit it on the nail with the brain, and us talking about the brain and not putting anything in there. So if we can start that, like, it's not a rush to start it, but if we can start it now, I was thinking in my head, the daily incentives to give all glows would be the brain, like putting something daily into the brain to keep the brain growing, because we don't want to ever be stagnant. That's a something that we've all talked about, never being stagnant and always moving. So if we give everybody in the glow basically a chance to put something in the brain, so we have that what is it called, we just that information, give everybody that info. And then the weekly one, I was thinking, and I'm trying to break it down because I was confusing myself, so please bear with me. So the week incentives could be, maybe we have between the glows, like they have their own calls where they schedule a call, so they all come together and figure out other daily daily things to do to get incentives, and the call would basically be like the weekly incentive. If you get what I'm saying, like the call itself would be everybody getting a weekly incentive by showing up to the call to figure out what they're scheduled to do the next week.
I love
If
that.
that makes sense.
It does.
So I was thinking about that because I'm like, we love doing calls and being on Twitter Spaces and all that. But if the glows can talk between each other, and we don't ever, I'm saying we're gonna be part of the glows, but like outside looking in, if the glows are always just basically in communication, always keeping that, that vibe, and everybody's knowing what everybody's doing, and they have that weekly communication, then you really wouldn't have to worry about things at all. I mean, people could ask you questions, but they would know what they were doing, because that call would be very, very important to have, just so everybody's up to date about the schedule for the next week or the month. That, I think that would definitely help. Thinking about like Discord calls or Twitter calls, just so people can actually come into, like, just to earn a pope and just to see what everybody in the glows are doing. That'll be cool. Or Instagram, because I know we stopped doing the Instagram thing. I was thinking about going on Instagram. It's going to take a lot of guts. Okay. But like starting to do the Instagram calls, like, I don't know what it's called on Instagram, but starting to do that, bring that up so we can bring a lot of people from Instagram into the group. And then, the colors, because these colors. The colors usually in fraternities and sororities, the main colors are like royal purple, gold, white, and navy blue. So I know earlier you said like black, white, and another color. We could do like basically like black, white, purple, black, white, gold, black, white, navy blue, because those are like mainly the colors that they pick. We could do that too. And then, okay, flip and paste. And then for the educators, something to add also to the to what Tanisha and CJ said, the blogs for educator, when we do that, like, if we can have the educators basically collect every like medium from every, like, us, our mediums, whoever comes in their mediums, just so everybody, they can collect those things and we can put it into the magazine. Because I'm thinking about the magazine too, what the glows can put into the magazine, because they'll be putting in the work. So they'll be, everybody can have like a role to put into the magazine as well.
Right.
Because I'm just going everywhere with my brain, but this is like literally the things I've been thinking of and writing down for everything. So that's all I have to say. But just let me know if I'm making sense, I'm not making sense, because it's all in my head. I just can't like say everything.
No, that's how I was at the beginning of the call. Like, look, I got a lot to say. I'm just going to say it.
Right.
No, but you made some really, really great points. Especially, I love how you hit on the weekly, the monthly, the different platforms, the different, like even the magazine, and how we can, bring it all together. I think everybody, even with Tiny, how she went through each one, and CJ, how she went over the overview and keeping everyone up to speed, and you brought it home on, the things we can do weekly and monthly. This is why these think tanks are so important, because now I got 2 full pages of literally so many amazing things. I think one of the, like, a really great point you just made, Zay, was just having each glow team meet weekly to talk about, the next week tasks that they could put out there, right? Because those kind of things can change, right? Like, okay, so this week, this is the task at hand for this week. What's going to be the task for next week, to make sure that, like you said, we're on track. And then even being able to do that on different platforms, right? Taking each glow team, maybe, because like you said, there's different spaces for everybody. So like an engineer, maybe if they're building something or in the metaverse, right, they could be streaming on Twitch, right, while they're building out the raw community center or raw education center or anything like that, right? Streaming it in these different places and meeting in different places and just creating these contents and effects on different platforms is really great. I also like the colors you put out there. So purple, gold, navy blue, that's 3. So I'm thinking we only need 2 more colors. So we have gold, maybe like a silver would be kind of cool to piggyback off of that one. And then I guess red is the only other color that I.
Yeah, I was thinking of red too. I was like, let me just put red in there, but I didn't want to have like misguided information because those
Right.
basically were the colors: the purple, the gold, and the blue. They were like really obsessed with it. But red is one too. It's just not really used. But I'm like, that's a color.
Yeah.
That's a normal color. So
Yeah, I see that in a lot of the other ones. So yeah. Okay, so red, navy blue, gold, purple. Oh, then yeah, it says silver. If we're gonna do gold, then silver could be like a cool contrast. Um okay. All right, so we got our 5 colors for each one then. Purple, gold, navy blue, red, and silver. Awesome. And that's cool because at first I was like, I mean, green, that's kind of what we use often. Also, although
right.
purple is as well, that's kind of like our accent color, but purple is an accent color. So all of these colors that we just noted will actually be really nice accent colors. Only one I'd be a little hesitant for is red, and that's only because I've never really liked the red and green combo, although I guess it looks nice. But Christmas kind of just like sucks that niceness out when you see green and red everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's
um,
very true.
but it still is a nice accent color for green, and it's a nice color when you contrast the two. So I think those are going to be 5 awesome colors for each one. And everything that we've put out, even when you said like each team contributing to the magazine, each team being able to contribute to different things that we're doing, contributing to the workshops, each team knowing like, oh, what task am I going to be doing for these projects that we're going to be doing, and being able to come together to, govern themselves, because that's what this is all about. Like, yes, I founded it, but at the end of the day, everything is still equal, right? We're all putting in the equal effort. We're all putting in equal ideas. That's why I always try to make it a point, like, whose ideas is whose, right? Because I just am an executor, right? If you put an idea out there, I know how to go get a bunch of people together to try to help make this idea come together. So the more of us that are putting these ideas out there and executing, the better we will be. And I definitely agree with you on getting back on Instagram, having different things like that. I even talked to Tiny about that a few weeks ago. Like, man, we got to get back on Instagram lives and, tell the world about all this awesome stuff that we're doing, right? And have these different conversations, because there's not a lot of people out there doing it, especially not a lot of people that look like us that know what they're talking about that are doing it. So, one, we know what we're talking about, and two, we are doing it. So we have an upper hand than a lot of these YouTubers, a lot of these Instagrammers, and everyone else that's just reading a script and repeating it. So all of these things are going to keep making us stronger and making this impact in the space. So thanks for sharing, Zay. You all dropped some really great info. Did anybody else have anything they wanted to add or say? No? Awesome. Well, this has been an awesome community call. You guys have really inspired so many great things. I'm going to get to work on putting this all together in something that makes sense so people understand what our next steps are. I'm also going to get busy working on the NFTs. One thing I was thinking is for the patch. I'm trying to think of how I want the patch to kind of look. I've been looking on YouTube on kind of like how to make patches, and it doesn't seem too complicated. It's just about making it look like it's like stitching and on a circle and stuff. But even if you guys have any ideas on what you would like to see on the patch, I think I had said before, like maybe a symbol would be kind of cool to even represent each one, something like that in the middle, or the 3 letters, or anything like that. If you guys think the 3 letters is cool, I think that'll be fine as well. I think that's where I kind of left off last time on that idea, when I seen Zay's 5 categories, and was just like, oh, that'd be kind of cool just to have the 3 letters in the middle of the patch instead of like a symbol, so that again it's just clear which one that you're a part of. But if anybody had any other ideas about the patches or NFTs or anything like that, speak now or forever hold your peace. Just kidding. I'm gonna share updates. Nope. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys for stopping by, think tanking with us, and coming up with these awesome ideas. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a blessed rest of your weekend. Peace.